I think are going to be a little disappointed. It is going to be about the defensive linemen. Of course, it's always about the quarterbacks, but I don't know that you're going to see 5 quarterbacks go in the first round this next year the way we saw last year. And I don't know even if they do, even if the Justin Herberts or the, whoever you want to mention, the Drew Locks at Missouri, if they do come out, of course, Locke's a senior, he will be coming out, but even if they do, I don't think that I think this year's draft is going to be dictated by the defensive linemen, and that the skill position players, they better hope the wide receivers all come out, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of teams out there that are going to have to focus on veterans rather than rookies when it comes to trying to score some points next year.
Yeah, no, I agree. Every draft's different, as you're well aware. Every year, position-wise and all that. There'll be, 3 to 4 quarterbacks go in the first round, as typical. But it's going to be driven by the defensive line / 3-4 outside backers.
Yeah.
Where you want to call them. You call them a defensive end, you call them an outside backer. But this year, what I've seen so far, it's loaded. And good players, too. Really good players. We'll see how it shakes out. But as you just said about the fantasy stuff at the draft and all that, there's going to be offensive players that go. There's going to be receivers that go. Backs, I really don't know yet. I'm still working on that right now. But there's going to be a couple backs. There almost has to be. If you go with the percentages of the draft.
Yeah.
But the D-line, the defense is gonna run the first round. There's no doubt.
All right. Well, one last thing before I let you go, and that was I wanted to kind of at least tease up to this upcoming weekend. We have a huge game in the NFL with the Chiefs going on the Patriots. We kind of talked about that, and I'm just really excited to see the way that Mahomes and Brady kind of match each other in that game. And then in college football, while it isn't necessarily huge from a national title perspective, this isn't Alabama, LSU or anything, but Washington, Oregon, here in my backyard, it's a big one. And from an NFL draft perspective, it's huge because this is the most talented defense that Justin Herbert, the really talented quarterback of Oregon, is going to face with Washington's defense, which I'm telling you, Scott, you've probably watched plenty of UW already, but if you haven't, for our listeners who haven't, UW is loaded, especially in the secondary. I mean, Jimmy Lake.
I watched him.
Oh, yeah.
I watched him.
And so it's going to be a fun game. I mean, I'm just curious to see, because I've been so impressed by Herbert's accuracy to this point. I want to see a little bit more make it happen in clutch situations. I think this is going to be a very close game. It was an absolute blowout a year ago where Washington destroyed Oregon. But, in a rivalry like this, that's going to, Oregon is going to be that much better prepared for it. And so I just think from a regional standpoint, it's fascinating, but from an NFL draft perspective, it's even more interesting because if Herbert performs well against Washington's defense, then I really think it's going to be that much more obvious that he is easily the top quarterback prospect in the country. And I think it could wind up, maybe kind of giving him a little bit more of a push towards going to the NFL. Because when I went to Eugene over the summer to watch this kid in person, and all the talk was down there, surprise from the Ducks, was that Herbert's looking to come back. His younger brother is already signed on. They want to play together. And so there's a lot of talk that Herbert might be coming back as a senior, but because I think that there is a little bit of a question mark who that second or third or fourth quarterback might be. And again, if Herbert has a spectacular performance, and I think he's gifted enough to do that, then, I think it could wind up pushing him a little bit more towards the NFL just because people are going to be so enamored with his skill set.
Yeah, the thing is, it's going to be a good challenge for him because both those corners that Washington can play and that safety, really good player.
Yeah, Taylor Rapp, he's to me, he's one of the cleanest open field tacklers in the country. I love his game in that regard. And, again, I mentioned the fact that that Seahawks-Rams game, I saw a lot of missed tackles from defensive backs. And so I know some clubs out there that might be looking for a clean tackling safety in this year's draft. And Taylor Rapp, he's only a junior, but I believe that he's looking to leave early. I think that he'd be one of those players a lot of people out there are going to be looking at.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, both corners can play. Both corners can play. Number 1, number 23.
Yeah.
Both can. They're I tell you, UW's talented now. You know, and so is Oregon. Don't get me wrong. Oregon's got talent, but UW, they got some stuff going the right way. That's for sure.
Well, they certainly do. It's going to make for a fascinating game. I'm very much looking forward to this weekend. Okay, well, that about wraps it up for this week. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the Instinctive Scouting Podcast. This and prior episodes are always available for free and immediate download at NFLDraftScout.com. For Scott McLuhan, this is Rob Rang signing off on this week's episode of the ISP. Catch you next week.